Sure. Here's a 400-word short story based on the title, I Bought and Restored an Old Lake. Then the HOA showed up claiming it all belonged to them. I'd been searching for the perfect getaway property for years, something remote, peaceful, and untouched. When I stumbled upon an old, neglected lake nestled at the edge of a forgotten rural town, I knew I'd found it. The land was a mess. Overgrown, water levels low, garbage scattered around the banks. But the lake had bones and I had a vision. I bought it outright, land title, survey maps, everything. It took me nearly a year to bring it back to life. I drained and dredged the muck, planted native water plants, restocked fish, and even built a small dock and a cozy cabin. It wasn't just a property anymore. It was my sanctuary. Then one Saturday morning, just as I was settling into a coffee by the water, a group of people pulled up in golf carts. Yes, actual golf carts. Leading them was a man in a polo shirt and a clipboard who introduced himself as Carl, president of the local HOA. I blinked.
Cha? What hatcha?
I asked, confused. Carl smiled tightly and said, You're sitting on community property. This lake is part of the Whispering Pines HOA jurisdiction. I pulled out my deed, ready to show him they were mistaken, but Carl shook his head. That may be what you bought, but there's an old agreement from 1982 that designates the lake and surrounding 2 acres as common-use land for the neighborhood. It was just never enforced, until now. I was stunned. No one had mentioned this during the purchase. No one even mentioned an HOA existed. But Carl handed me a thick stack of documents and politely told me that I could either comply with HOA rules, open access to residents, no structures, no motorized boats, or face legal action. It felt like a joke, but it wasn't. I hired a lawyer, dug into the records, and uncovered a decades-old, poorly written easement that the developers had added long before the neighborhood was even built. Technically, the HOA had a claim, but only to use, not to own. I fought them tooth and nail. After 6 exhausting months, we settled. The lake remained mine, but I had to allow limited community access. So now, every Sunday, strangers fish off my dock. But I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, still the king of the lake I brought back to life. Let me know if you want a twist ending or a version where the protagonist wins completely.